This is the desert box. Inside is a small piece of the desert. So many important things happened in the desert that I thought that we just had to have a piece of it in the classroom with us. The desert is a strange and wild place. At night, it is very cold, but during the day, it is very hot. There is almost no water. And the desert is always changing. The wind comes, and as it blows, it shapes and molds the sand. So the desert is never the same. Once, there was a man named Abram who lived with his wife, Sarai. Abram and Sarai lived in the town of Haran. But one day, God said to them, "Move from your home, and I will give you a new home and a new land. It's all right to go, and I will bless you, and I will make you a blessing." Abram and Sarai looked across the desert. It would be sad to leave their home and their friends. They wondered if they would be safe. They wondered if God would be with them. But Abram and Sarai went. They trusted the one true God to show them the way. They came to Shechem in the land of Canaan. God had been with them in Haran. But would God be here too? Then God said to them, Look at all this land. I will give this land to your children." Abram and Sarai were so happy that God was with them, they couldn't help but give thanks to God. So they built a special place, an altar, and prayed their thanks to God at Shechem. Then they moved on to a place called Bethel. And God was there too. Abram and Sarai were so happy that God was with them, they couldn't help but give thanks to God. And so they built a special place, an altar, and prayed their thanks to God. Then there was a great famine, and so there was not enough food to eat. They were very hungry. So Abram and Sarai moved to the land of Egypt for food. Abram was scared. He was scared of the people in Egypt. He forgot that God had promised to be with him. But God did not forget. God kept Abram and Sarai safe. The Egyptians were good to them and gave them food and animals. Abram and Sarai moved back to the land of Canaan, the land that God had promised them, to a place called Hebron. Abram and Sarai wondered if God would be here too. God had been with them in Haran. God had been with them in Shechem. God had been with them in Bethel. And God had been with them in Egypt. Would God be in Hebron too? Then God said to them, I will give you many children to live in this land. Abram and Sarai were so happy that God was with them. They couldn't help but give thanks to God. And so they built a special place, an altar, and prayed their thanks to the one true God who was with them. Now Abram and Sarai knew that the one true God who spoke to them and showed them the way was in every place and in every time, just as God had promised. I wonder how Abram and Sarai felt when they were told to move to a new home. I wonder how it felt to leave their home and not know where they were going. I wonder if you have ever gone somewhere and didn't know where you were going. I wonder how they felt when God spoke to them in all these places in the desert. I wonder where God is when you go from place to place. I wonder what you wonder. Amen. When the story is over, put all of the pieces very gently and very calmly and very slowly back into the little tub. Try and keep as much of the sand in the desert box as possible. And then place the tub and the desert box back in the black box that the camera sits on for the next group. If you are the 9 o'clock presenter, you will have to get this from backstage. And if you are the 12 o'clock presenter, please, at the end of large group, take this back to where it's supposed to be. Because this is all large group day, take a lot of time. Pause to let the kids ask wondering questions if they have some. Don't forget, I forgot to show you to do the part at the beginning. It's in the script though, the part that talks about this is the place where we move slowly and quietly. So don't forget to do that part. And Merry Christmas. You guys are awesome. Let me know if you have any questions, but I'm not worried. Thanks, and I'll see you later.